Hi, hello, this is Cow Chicken. This year, during October, I very much got snuck up on. So, I did not get the full 31 days. In fact, I missed the whole first week. But I think I'm proud of these at least 9 drawings that I did throughout, so let's get into that real quick. Okay, first one coming up. This was already the second week of October when I first did this one. The two characters are Yuri and Liam, my two Inktober characters. Because when I usually do October, I have these own little Inktober characters that I draw during the month. These two are a ghost and a zombie. I couldn't think of any comic to do because during this year of Inktober, since I already missed the full week, I decided that maybe it would be okay if I did some comics instead to kind of hit, two birds with one stone, if you will. But since I couldn't think of any comic ideas to do with these two, I decided to do a more like comic style, aka make it clean, not too rough of a brush with liner. I even tried to use the paint bucket tool, but I have strong beef with the paint bucket tool, so that didn't really turn out as well as I would like it to. Either way, I'm not super big fan of how it turned out, but I also don't hate it. Yeah, it's kind of hard to say. I don't know. I feel like these two should have more development, but they just really don't. They're very bland characters, I guess. I've drawn Yuri a couple of times outside of Inktober because he is kind of fun to draw with his little baggy pants and his cape. But I've also tried to draw him a lot of times without the cape, I guess, without him having that little ghost shawl that he's wearing. And it just never turns out very well. I think that's why I didn't like it last year. Liam's one last year I liked a lot better, and I think it's because I missed a lot of his zombie bits that I forgot somehow. I think it's because I wasn't looking at my reference image, which, womp womp. But yeah, not a huge fan of how it turned out, but overall I'm not upset with it. So this is day 1. Day 2, as we're going into it, was a bit early there. Day 2 is a 3-panel comic using the format that Webtoon is accustomed to. So it's 1 page from a Webtoon's format. And it's 3 panels with my 3 characters. Smokey, who's this black cat in the middle. Red, who is this red dragon to the left. And Shin? No, that's a different character. Jace. My bad, I have so many vampires. Jace, who is the vampire on to the right. Jace's outfit kind of differs every year. So this year I thought it'd be fun to put him in a color block hoodie, since I've been really liking those. But what the comic is about is I wanted to make it Halloween-y since day number 3, which was actually supposed to be day number 2, but it took a while to make since it's actually like 9 panels. Had nothing to do with Halloween, and I was kind of upset by that, so I made these 3 carving pumpkins, and it's actually based off of something that happened a few years ago, because when we were carving pumpkins, my brother made a pumpkin have this Roblox face, and I thought it was really funny. He carved it much better than I drew it, probably. I do realize that the bottom panel is a little bit off-center, which is going to be bugging me just a little bit. Also, the fact that it doesn't fully line up with the other panels. This is why you don't draw the last panel first. But yeah, overall, I'm really proud of it, especially the lighting. I think lighting is always my favorite thing to do. I love shading, so lighting isn't my favorite because shading is actually the funnest part. But what is lighting other than, taking away the shading? It was really fun. I gotta do some more head-on shading, so especially Smokey's dark colors. The yellow from the jack-o'-lantern really matches. And that is day 2. Day 3 are my 2 characters that are not part of Inktober, since I decided to do a one-off thing. So one day I would draw my Inktober characters, the next day I would draw my normal characters, and this was supposed to be day 2. It's a 9-panel comic of my 2 characters from Mafia. They're called Jonathan Sullivan Jones, which is the white-hand man with the black streak, and Lazar of Gust, which is the black-hand man. Yeah, there's nothing much to him. He's a black-haired man. Sorry. I'm trying to think of more describing features of him. But either way. It's just a panel with 2 people. So what's happening in this comic? Okay. it was an idea I had the entire day, so I decided to might as well use it for the comic since it was already in my brain. It was a while back, people were doing this like Pocky thing when they were drawing the characters with them, and you would have, I don't actually remember, it was like the Pocky game, I believe it was called, where somebody would have the Pocky and then you'd like try and get them to do it. I don't totally know how it works, but it's very similar to that. I tried similar things with comics, because if you actually look at comics, a lot of the comics backgrounds and a lot of panels don't actually have a background. It's more of just a color thing. And I don't know, every time I made a comic, I've never been good at just putting a solid color in the background. So I tried to do it and make it a little bit more contrast, put a little bit more into it so you're not just like seeing the same background again and again. It's not my favorite. I do like some panels, especially the action panel, but I think a lot of the shading got messed up because since he has really white hair and I use color burn for my shading, his hair ends up turning out really bright, and I kind of wanted to sidestep that, so I ended up making the shading really not as well as I wanted to. But that is day number 3. Day number 4. Oh, yes, another 3-panel comic was actually 2 pages for Webtoon, which is why it's split up in this weird format. Either way, I gotta draw my 2 characters, my little children characters, with my comic characters. So we got Will, who is this little spider guy on the left, and Jack, who is the pumpkin kid on the right. I keep forgetting his name is Jack. I think it's because these 3 little kids are named after the food, so it's kiwi, strawberry, and lemon. And so I keep trying to call Pumpkin because I have one of the characters in the comic named Pumpkin, but his name is not Pumpkin, his name is Jack. This is my second year drawing Jack in this design because he used to be a skeleton, but I actually hated how I did it. So I made him to this little pumpkin boy, which I was supposed to do the first Inktober when I originally made these characters. But I never got to it because that day I got lazy, so I just drew a pumpkin. Yeah, I gotta make them playing together and, playing cards. I decided to make them play Uno. It does not look good, so if you try to zoom in there and look at the playing cards, please don't. But yeah, I do quite like it. I think Kiwi did turn out very lackluster. Same with Lemon. I feel like Lemon has a really weird hairstyle. Every time I draw him, it's either hit or miss. I do like how Strawberry turned out. I do really like drawing these guys together, especially because Strawberry and Jack both have very similar outfits. I didn't realize that until I was drawing this. They both have overalls with a striped shirt. Long sleeve striped shirt, too. But yeah, no, it was really fun. I don't think I went about this in any differently than how I would normally do it. Nor do I have a lot to talk about other than how fun it was. Oh, and especially if you look at the coloring. That's another thing that jumped out at me about this. The how Inktober characters compared to the Cornucopia characters so vastly different in color that it's actually makes me want to do more, day 5? Day 5! Okay, we're already on day 5, halfway there. I gotta draw my main guys, Steve and Draco, but I gotta do in a zombie AU. This is actually my new background, so I gotta make a new background, and I was watching a video where they made the new background, it's like a collage, and I thought that'd be cool. Although it did give me a bit of difficulty. I did have to not only make it like 3 different times, but I also didn't know fully what to do for all the back ones. I did end up tracing some of the ones that I've already drawn, like a lot of old drawings that I had for 3 of them, I believe, were old drawings that I made of them. Or not, some of them aren't even though those 2. But yeah, that I made of them before, and I kind of traced over with this zombie AU. Steve is the one with the axe, while Draco is the zombie. I did have to change stuff up from the original design, because when I went back out to go do the big ones, they were looking a bit weird, and I couldn't really tell why. Either way, I also had to change a few things, because it did not fit right on my tablet. I think that was the biggest thing. But yeah, you see here, I changed the big ones to them sitting on a couch, my bad. Kept trying to say sleeping. But yeah, I was able to make this thing for my background, and I do quite like it. Although I did realize it is quite small, so my textured brush pops out a lot more. This has happened a few times, I realized, where I'm drawing, and the brush just is really big and chunky in some parts, and it kind of looks ugly. So I kind of do wish I toned my brush down so it wasn't so in your face. Because there are a couple parents where I feel like it might, some drawings could have been better if it was a bit smaller. But yeah, overall, I'm really proud of this one. I can see every day as my background. Oh, on to day number 6. These girls, they're always hard for me to draw. You can see the giant wait period I had for them because I just had no idea what to do. So I started out with this hermit to try and do some of my sketchbook designs. Because I was sketching the ideas I had out, thumbnailing in my sketchbook, but I just had no idea what to do for these girls. One, because the siren is a mermaid, siren. And I always have such a hard time posing sirens. This is actually one of the last ones I did. No, the last one I did. And Jace, the witch over here, no, her name is just G, right? G, the witch, always gives me such a hard time because her hair design is always it changes all the time. So it doesn't really have a canonical design. And it's mostly because it's really hard for me to draw. Because I tried to draw, because it's probably like messy. So like black, long, messy hair. And trying to actually get a solid design for that was really difficult. So every year it kind of changes. And they're just like, on top of the fact that women are hard to draw for me, I just was going through a bit of a phase where I just did not want to do anything. I just wanted to play Legend Z. Hey, come on. I just got Legend Z in the mail. That's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to play some Pokemon, catch some guys. But I drew these guys. It didn't turn out as bad as I thought it would. But you can definitely tell that it was rough. Very rough. I think especially in the faces. The eyes aren't looking at each other, so the eyes look really wonky. I think what really helped it, though, was me kind of blurring it out at the end, copying. Yeah, I was kind of chickening out at the end, so I copped for just doing some little blur things to make it kind of look ghouly-ish. Oh, this is day number 7. 8? Oh, I put these in the wrong order. This is day number 8. My bad. Day number 8, my skeleton characters. These are also Inktober characters, but they're also characters of my main story. So in the Inktober, I had to make a Halloween story, and this Halloween story is called Skeletons. Mostly because I wanted to make a thriller, but the only thrillers I could think of was a zombie apocalypse. But I was like, no, zombie apocalypse is too common. Even though I love zombie apocalypse, so I really should have just probably done a zombie apocalypse. But I do love these guys, so I tried to take another Halloween themed guy, aka skeleton, and make it into a zombie apocalypse. So basically, there's this like cult that is called the Skeletons that took over the USA. So everybody closed their burners, so it's just the USA that's going through this like massive like cult. So they took the youth and everything. Not gonna go too into it. But yeah, these are my characters. I have a problem with women. I do have to agree. So I was mostly making fun of this in this one where we have the 3 boys over here and just be like, is that a woman in the apocalypse? Either way, her name is Lily. She's down at the bottom. And we have Jason with his red hair. He's the main character. 082 with the skeleton mask, knowing how they're part of the cult. So they have the mask with the numbers, so that's why he doesn't have a name. It's 082, because that's part of the cult, stripping away names and all. And Keith, which is the childhood best friend down there, he looks a lot like Steve, which is probably why I like his redesign. I did have to redesign both Lily and Keith, because I don't draw them enough to really have the design implemented. But yeah, overall, I had a bit of trouble with this one, but I think it turned out pretty damn good. Here it is, number 7. These are, again, my 2 main characters, Draco and Steve. But this time it's indeed... Oh, I just realized you can't see my favorite drawing because it's covered by my guy. Okay, that's fine. That's really fine. But either way, this is the D&D AU with my little guys. So it's Steve and Draco. We got a human baron with Steve and a changeling rogue with Draco, which I thought kind of fit them the best personality-wise. You can kind of see the one hidden beside me. I wonder if I can fix that in editing. Either way, while I do really love these two, I was having such a hard time picking things to draw for them. I don't know why, because it took like twice the amount of times that these things usually take me. I think it took about like 8 hours, roughly. And like I said, I did have to trace that one drawing again of mine, of these two. Because I don't know. Nothing was really coming to mind. I tried to do side profile right there. I can't really do side profile, so I was thinking of maybe testing out my skills, you know, working on it. It did not turn out as good as I want it to, but I did realize that it's because my eye, I keep drawing the eyes too big, so it makes it look really weird. They need to be much smaller on the face. I keep messing that up, though. Side profile is not fun for me, and I think I always look so boring, so I really do need to work on that. I think my favorites are probably Steve playing the trumpet and Draco in his little tiefling form up there with Steve in the top left-hand corner, my bad. Oh, the colors. This is a fun part. I get to talk about why I chose the colors I did. So in this one, so Steve has, in his original form, oh wait, am I out of time? Shit, that took for longer than I wanted. My bad. This is day 9, the actual first. I did this one before I did day 6. Day 7 was also one of the last ones I did. This is of my friend's character. Their name is Asher. And it was really fun. We were talking about, because I had some Animal Crossing designs I wanted to do. And we were talking about, you know, making our characters into little Animal Crossing guys. And I was saying that he just feels like a deer to me, you know, with the little antlers and all. Which is funny, because they were saying he felt like a wolf. But that spurred the urge to draw this drawing of him. Because he felt like a guy, like he could put some antlers on him. So this is Halloween costume. I wish I could tell more about him, but my friend has been like on and off in the story, so it'd be kind of fun too. But yeah, they don't have a YouTube account. But they do. Oh, but no, the Instagram's closed off. I would like to be able to credit them or something, but they don't have anything open. But yeah, because they got banned off TikTok a little bit. But yeah, I think this one turned out better than it could have. There are a few things I don't like about it, like it has a really long neck in the big one right there. I couldn't really think of a background to do, so I did just leave it white. Because, I don't know, I tried to do a bunch of different shapes and things. I think I did a lot better than it last year with the shapes. I think that one turned out right, but I just couldn't think of a shape that really worked, so I didn't do a shape. But yeah. It was also I haven't been able to do really curly hair. I don't really have characters that have that. And since I drew this one first, it's how in the other one, when Draco, became the tiefling mode, had that really curly hair. It was because I drew this one first, and I kind of learned how to not only draw the curly hair from the amount of times I've drawn Asher, but also shade it, because this one had a very nice experience. I did touch it up after the replay, so this one's this. I added some more, shading and some more color to kind of bring it out. But that is all. I did kind of fail. But anyway, I have some more things cooking, and I guess this is the end. It could have been better. I still very much am an amateur at this, so have a good day.